Hi everybody, I'm Yashika from AWS Technologies. We have already seen a class on about AWS certifications and the need of AWS. And if you have any doubts regarding the course or the exams, please feel free to comment in the section. We will clarify you. Also, if you want to learn about AWS further in depth, please contact your nearby AWS Technologies branch. Thank you. In today's video, we are going to see about the basics of virtualization and the different terminologies associated with it. So, what is virtualization? Virtualization is nothing but creation of virtual computing resources. The computing resources could be anything, say storage or network computing resource or desktop apps or OS. So, example, we could take a data server. The data server in virtualization means it's just a virtual data server. It sends and receives file just like a physical data server, except that it does not have any physical connections to it. That's the only difference in virtualization. So someone has built a model of something virtually. So what is the difference between cloud computing and virtualization? Sometimes we tend to confuse between the two. Virtualization is creation of virtual computing resources, whereas in cloud computing we have a network of computers. It's just like an IT setup where the computers are connected in a network and they send data with each other, and that is cloud computing. So now let's see, there are basics, or there are many terminologies involved in virtualization. Let's see the most important terminologies associated with virtualization. The first thing is going to be VM. VM is nothing but a virtual machine. Just like how you have a desktop, it's the same, but you have it virtually. That's called as a virtual machine. So when you have a desktop, you can just have only one OS running in it. But when you have virtual machine, you can have two versions of virtual machines running in the same desktop. Only difference is that the same thing is delivered over a network connection. Since it's virtual, we are able to have two versions of it. Say we can have two versions of Windows running in the same machine. Otherwise, we can have a version of Windows and a version of Mac running on your same machine. That is virtual machine. Next is virtual server. Many IT companies use the concept of virtual server. We have a physical server. They have one single physical server, and from that physical server, that in turn will be connected to many virtual servers. One could be for mail communication, other could be for storage, and other could be for database, and so many other things. That's the use of a virtual server. Next, virtual desktop. You have your physical desktop with yourself, and when we go with virtual desktop, the difference is that you can have multiple versions of OS in it. Say for example, for your business, you use everything in Linux. So you have a basic Linux, you are using a Linux desktop. So what a Linux OS, and for a particular program that you use for a business alone, you need to have Windows. So what you need to do, you need not physically install Windows in the same PC. Instead, when you go with your virtual desktop, for that particular program alone, you can be using Windows using this virtual desktop concept. Then guest system. What is a guest system? Guest system and host system. There are basic differences. Host system is nothing but the parent system, wherein the real hardware and software is installed. This hardware and software can be accessed by this guest system. This is the child system. This is where we access the virtual machines. This is where the virtual machine is actually hosted. Then comes hypervisor. This is a very important part. Hypervisor is actually a small OS component, and this combines all the physical resources that is needed, and it will be delivering that particular data, all the physical components, and it will deliver to a particular user or whatever system that is needed. Then snapshot. What is a snapshot? It is just an image that is taken of a virtual machine at any particular point in time. When I say a particular point in time, it includes whatever the data configuration operations in it, whatever programs are open in it at that time. So everything gets copied at a particular point in time. That is a snapshot. Then comes clone. Clone is nothing but you create an exact copy of your virtual machine. That is called as cloning of your virtual machine. Then virtual infrastructure. Here we saw the virtual machines, virtual server, virtual desktop, everything separately. So when it comes to virtual infrastructure, we connect everything together. We have virtual desktop, virtual machines, virtual servers, everything combined together in a single infrastructure is called as virtual infrastructure. Then comes the last most important is P2V. P2V is nothing but physical to virtual. It's a common term that is used in IT department, wherein we say if suppose we want to convert a particular component, say a particular desktop, physically to a virtual desktop, which means it is referred as physical to virtual conversion. So we've seen about virtualization, cloud computing, and the main terminologies associated with virtualization. We have a lot more to learn. If you want to learn further, please contact Besant Technologies or please continue watching the tutorial. Thank you.